Before we dive deeper into the shadows of forgotten forests, let me ask you something. Where are you from? Because you might be surprised, Bigfoot sightings, strange vanishings, and whispered legends aren't just hidden in the remote corners of Washington or Oregon. Sometimes the mystery is closer than you think. A trail just outside town. A patch of woods you always thought felt off. So tell me, where's home? You never know. The next story might be your backyard. Legends fade, but some stories refuse to die. During the 1980s, something stirred in the forests, quietly at first, hidden in fog, reflected in water, standing just beyond the tree line. These aren't just blurry tales told in bars or passed around campfires. These are encounters, real people, real places, and moments that never left them. And once you hear them, they won't leave you either. There are places in America where the trees grow too tall, the shadows fall too long, and the silence feels unnatural. Places where cell signals fade, compasses spin, and something unseen watches from behind the branches. In these forgotten corners of the country, stories have emerged, tales of a presence, a legend, a creature. Known by many names across cultures, we call it Bigfoot. But why does this creature always seem to appear in the darkest woods? Why do the spookiest forests attract the same chilling encounters? Tonight, we follow the trail into the deep wilds, to the heart of mystery, fear, and something that just might be real. Eyewitnesses come from all walks of life. Rangers, soldiers, scientists, and their stories are uncannily similar. In Oregon, a pair of hikers watched a figure cross a logging road in 3 steps, far too large for any human. In the dense woodlands of Kentucky, a camper awoke to breathing outside his tent. He whispered his wife awake, but by the time they looked, only the footprints remained, deep, human-shaped, and nearly 16 inches long. A trucker in the North Cascades pulled over one foggy morning and watched stunned as a figure knelt by a stream. When it turned its head, he described eyes that didn't look curious, but intelligent. These aren't campfire tales. These are the stories of people who are certain they saw something real. From BFRO.net, there are some spooky encounters in these spooky woods that took place in the 1980s. In 1982, a logger named Don McPherson took a detour down a fire road in the Six Rivers National Forest. He was looking for a shortcut, but found something else. As the fog thickened, Don's headlights caught movement up ahead. A large, upright figure crossed the road, slowly, deliberately. He said it turned and looked at him. The eyes, he claimed, were not animal eyes. They were human eyes on something that wasn't human. He froze. The figure disappeared into the mist. When he drove forward, he found the spot where it had crossed, no prints. But the road was wet, and still nothing. Don never went back to that stretch of forest. And in the years that followed, that road earned a name among locals, the Fog Line. Encounter number 2, the Lake Whisper, Minnesota, 1985. In 1985, 3 teenage friends went camping near Lake Itasca, Minnesota. They brought a tape recorder and a disposable camera, ready for ghost stories, not monsters. Around midnight, they heard branches cracking, then a strange whistling, not wind, something trying to mimic it. One of them, Eric Lawson, described a dark silhouette standing at the edge of the lake, not crouching, standing, watching. The boys bolted, but before they left, Eric snapped a single photo in the dark. The print was blurry, but a figure is visible, towering, outlined by the faint lake mist. To this day, that photo is tucked inside his father's old camping journal. And Eric, now in his 50s, still refuses to camp near water. Encounter number 3, the Breathing Tree Line, West Virginia, 1988. In the fall of 1988, Walter Red Crowley, an experienced hunter, sat in a tree stand deep in the Monongahela National Forest. The woods were quiet, too quiet. Around 5 p.m., Red noticed movement in the trees. What he assumed was a bear began to stand, on 2 legs. It stayed at the tree line for 10 minutes, never fully emerging. But Red didn't just see it, he heard it. A low, rhythmic breathing, deep, wet, too slow for a human, too steady for any animal he knew. Then a branch cracked. The figure turned and vanished. Red didn't move until sunrise. He never hunted again. When asked why, he would only say, the trees, they were alive that day, not just moving, listening. In the heart of the forest, evidence can vanish with the rain, but some remains. Footprints, long strides, massive impressions, often deeper than a man's weight should leave. Tree structures, massive limbs bent and woven into arches and nests. Some trees snapped at impossible angles. And then, the sounds. Researchers have recorded howls, wood-knocking, and bone-chilling screams unlike any native species. The Sierra Sounds, a famous set of audio recordings, feature what some believe is Bigfoot vocalizing in what appears to be a language. Science hasn't confirmed it, but it hasn't explained it either. Skeptics argue the sightings are imagination, hoaxes, or misidentifications that people want to believe. But if this were only a myth, why do so many accounts match? From different eras, different regions, different languages? Some suggest Bigfoot is not an animal, but something else entirely, a dimensional traveler, a forest spirit, or even a guardian of the wild. That's the thing about Bigfoot. It doesn't fit easily into science, but it fits perfectly into the woods. And maybe that's the point. Mount Hood National Forest, 1973. In the fall of 1973, a 29-year-old graduate student named Margaret Keller vanished while hiking alone on a research trip through Oregon's Mount Hood National Forest near Larch Mountain, a quiet, forested peak east of Portland. Margaret, a botany student at Oregon State University, was cataloging native plant species for her thesis. She was experienced, well-prepared, and known by her professors as methodical and calm. What no one expected was for her to disappear, without warning, without evidence, and under circumstances that have baffled investigators ever since. But long before Margaret stepped into those woods, strange stories were already growing among the trees. Black and white photos of dense fir forests, old audio clips of hunters recounting strange howls. As far back as the 1940s, loggers had spoken of a creature in the forests around Larch Mountain, tall, covered in hair, and silent. In 1971, just 2 years before Margaret's hike, a group of campers reported seeing a figure standing uphill from their camp, watching them through the trees. They left in the middle of the night. Their only evidence, massive footprints in the mud near their extinguished fire. Margaret set out on October 3rd. She carried a notebook, a topographic map, and a small cassette recorder to log her findings. When she failed to return after 3 days, a search was launched. Photographs of search parties, dogs, and rescue helicopters combing steep forested ravines. Teams found her camp intact. Her backpack was there, her food, her sleeping bag undisturbed. Even her notebook was still tucked beneath a flat rock, weighted down, open to her final entry. Something is moving in the brush. Circling, I stood still for 10 minutes. I swear it's walking upright. Nearby, investigators found 4 enormous footprints pressed into the soft loam behind the tent, barefoot, wide, and deeply set. Each was nearly 18 inches long. Soft wind blows through the trees. Distant wood knocks echo faintly. Searchers reported odd phenomena. Radios malfunctioning, search dogs refusing to enter certain gullies, and a strange sour smell lingering in patches of dense pine. But of Margaret Keller, there was no trace. No torn clothing. No remains. Just the journal and the footprints. In the months following her disappearance, at least 3 more hikers in the same region reported distant vocalizations, long, mournful calls in the early morning fog. Some dismiss these as wild animals. Others believe Margaret may have witnessed something few ever do, and that something didn't let her leave. To this day, her case remains one of Oregon's oldest open missing persons files.